Hey guys, so I know you were excited that you had a sub, but you have work to do today. So we are starting chapter 1. In your notes, you are going to take notes today on page 17 of your interactive notebook. You're going to label that Understand Integers. This is lesson 2-1, which means chapter 2, lesson 1. So you are going to take a break and pause the video and copy what I already have down here. And then when you're ready for me to explain what it means, you're going to restart the video. So your vocabulary for today is integer. An integer is a positive and negative whole number and zero. So it's all the positives, all the negatives, zero, but they have to be whole numbers. So on a number line, zero would be in the middle, and you're used to the number lines where the ray goes out this way, and you have numbers such as 1, 2, 3, 4 on the right side of zero. Those are positive integers. Zero is not positive or negative, but it is an integer. Well, now to the left of zero, you should have negative integers. So -1, -2, -3, -4. Notice how they mirror each other. If I folded this in half, it'd be symmetrical. +1 is one space away from 0, and -1 is one space away from 0. That means that the further left I get on the number line, the smaller the number. So 4 is bigger than 3, 3 is bigger than 2, 2 is bigger than 1 is bigger than 0. Now 0 is bigger than -1, -1 is bigger than -2. So the further I get to the left, the smaller the number is. You're going to pause the video again to add this chart in your notes, which is super important because these are all the real world vocab that would indicate whether something is positive or negative. And when I say all, I just mean all that I have for 6th grade. There's a lot more options in this. Some of the things you'll see are warmer, deposit, which would be putting money into the bank, profit or gain, higher, above, over, gain. Whoops, I wrote it twice. And debit. Debit would be someone paying me money, basically. So ideas for negative would be colder, withdraw, which is take money out of the bank, loss or lose, lower, below, under, debt is money I owe somebody else, credit card would be referencing spending money that's not mine and that I have to pay back to the bank, so that would also be debt. Zero could be talked about by sea level or maybe like a balanced bank account. Another example for zero that I didn't write down because it's not used often is like an elevator. Sometimes the ground floor is considered zero on hotels or buildings that have a basement. And then going up a level would be starting at 1, and going down a level would be starting at -1. So we don't use that much in our books or in Florida, so I didn't add that. So make sure you get this whole table because you're going to have some practice with identifying if an integer is positive or negative in a few moments. Next, we have 4 examples. The instructions here are write the opposite of the integer. So the opposite of a -30 would be a +30. So once again, I'm not using an equal sign. I'm using an arrow to show the change in my notes. So the arrow is where I'm meaning opposite. So -30's opposite is 30. -16's opposite is +16. The opposite of 28 is -28. Now here's where you have to be careful. There's a negative outside of the number already. This negative means what's the opposite of the opposite. So the opposite of -65 is +65, but the opposite of +65 is -65. So the double negatives, the outside one's going to stay. So be super careful with that. Something else you might be asked to do in your notes or in your lesson today is to take a group of integers and rewrite them from least to greatest. So you're going to want to visualize your number line from up top and remind yourself that the left side is least, the right side is greatest. And that could be something nice to add to your notes if you think that you might get that a little confused. So if I look at all of these numbers, on my number line, the one all the way to the left is -4. So that's my least. It's worth the less amount, the least amount. So I use that one. Next on the number line would be -3. It's worth a little bit more than -4. Then 0 is worth more than -3. And then 2 would be last. It's worth the greatest amount. My number line up above didn't go all the way to -8, but you could make it work that way. So I just wrote my own real quick that shows all the way to -8, and I'm looking for the smallest number, which would be on the left side. So the -8 is the smallest. The -7 would be the next smallest on the number line. That's a +6, and any positive is going to be greater than a negative. So my next thing would be the -5. And then the +6. All right, guys, make sure you have paused the video and added everything into the notes that I have on my paper. And then check the whiteboard for what your assignment is next.